but God. Think about that. Think about where you were when God rescued your life. I was on a path going nowhere but God. I was on a path going to destruction but God. I was out of my mind but God. People said this about me but God. Now, you don't understand how powerful that statement is. I could stop and preach a series from now until Jesus comes back about the but God. What that statement says, it draws a contrast between human limitations and divine intervention. But God, you couldn't do it, but God could do it. You couldn't make a way, but God could make a way. It is used to contrast human inability with God's supreme authority and power. I don't have the ability to save myself, nor do you. And he's telling the Ephesians the same thing. You remember you were dead and you were separated. You couldn't do anything differently than what you were doing. But God, who is rich in mercy. It indicates that while a situation may seem hopeless or impossible, God has the authority to bring hope to the hopeless and the power to make the impossible possible. But God, it overcomes physical, moral, and spiritual limitations. It reminds us that no obstacle is too great for our God. Slap your neighbor a high five and say, but God. But God, being rich in mercy. But God being rich in mercy. I know you don't have a neighbor. Just slap your couch by pretend. But God. Somebody's going to be sitting, nobody's sitting beside me right now, but God's going to fill this seat. Nobody's sitting on this side, but God's going to fill this seat. But God being rich in mercy. What? That's contrary to the fire and brimstone preaching, right? It's supposed to be but God with a whack-a-mole hand, ready to hit you over the head. But God, who is a God of wrath. But God, who is angry at all you wicked sinners and wicked church religious people too. No, he says, but God, being rich in what? Mercy. Because of the great love, agape, unconditional love, with which he agape'd us, loved us unconditionally, even in spite of our trespasses, even in spite of our sin, even in spite of our hurts, habits, and hang-up, even in spite of our family traditions, even in spite of what mama taught me, even in spite of what daddy taught me. But God showed up rich in mercy and showed me a love that I'd never experienced before. I wish somebody could remember when the but God showed up in your life. People are like, man, he's on it today. Is he angry? No, I'm not angry. I'm happy because I had a but God moment in my life. But God, even when you were dead in your trespasses, when we were dead in our trespasses, he made us alive together in Christ. Isaiah said it this way. He said, we were like sheep that had all gone astray, and he laid upon himself the iniquity of us all. We did not deserve it, but he did it because he loved us. By grace, you have been saved and raised up with him and seated us. He raised us up with him and seated us. He raised us up with him and seated us with him in heavenly places in Christ Jesus, so that in the coming ages he might show the immeasurable riches. There's no word, if you look at that word there, immeasurable, there's not a word that can say anything any better. It's like infinite riches. Infinite times infinity times as far as forever can go, and the universe exceed as big as God is. He has no beginning and no end. Immeasurable riches of his grace, his unmerited favor and kindness toward us in Christ Jesus. So what's our new position? Pastor, you've told us about our old position. You've told us about our old practices. We remember, but now we've been saved. So what does that mean? Your new position. For by grace you have been saved through faith.